While you were busy fighting over masks and vaccines, the top 1% pulled off a $4 trillion heist. But the cherry on top was redirecting your anger towards a group that can't fight back. Immigrants. Instead of letting you focus on the real causes of your frustration, like rising costs of living, unaffordable health care, or high prices, they've perfected a psychological trick to keep you distracted. Scapegoating. I'm not saying that immigrants don't commit crime. I acknowledge there are areas that deal with crime from undocumented immigrants, but they've taken a smaller problem and blown it out of proportion to keep you from seeing the real issue. Billionaires hoarding wealth and rigging the system. It's like finding a redneck who ate a squirrel, then running wall-to-wall news stories on America's epidemic of squirrel-eating rednecks, digging up 5 more cases to convince everyone it's a national crisis. That's how they distract you, by making something seem bigger than it is so you don't notice what's really going on. Take gas prices, for example. Trump promised to fix them by removing environmental protections and drilling more, despite the fact that we're drilling more now than we ever did under Trump. But what did he actually do? He worked with oil companies and foreign producers like Saudi Arabia to cut production during the pandemic, artificially limiting supply and driving prices higher. At the same time, he rolled back rules that make cars use less gas and slashed investments in clean energy, ensuring we stay dependent on oil. When the pandemic hit, oil companies seized the moment to hike prices and make record profits. In reality, Trump didn't fix the problem. He helped cause it, but he told you what you wanted to hear to win your vote. What's really hurting your life right now? Is it an undocumented immigrant, or is it billionaires who benefit from keeping you distracted? The tactic isn't new. It's designed to make you doubt the truth. They call the media fake news and universities indoctrination camps, so you stop trusting the facts. Then they push their own story. Immigrants are the problem, not billionaires. They use fear to distract you while gutting programs like Medicare and Social Security, programs that we rely on, so they can hoard even more wealth. They tell you that raising wages for workers will wreck the economy, but somehow that logic doesn't apply to them. CEO pay at the top 350 U.S. firms grew 18.9% to $24.2 million in 2020. Typical worker compensation rose 3%. They're raising their own salaries without a care for inflation, the deficit, or the economy. It's all excuses to keep you underpaid. And those tax cuts, when the corporate tax rate dropped from 35% to 21%, billionaires paid a lower tax rate than I do, a single mom. Those savings didn't trickle down. They added $1.9 trillion to the national debt. Meanwhile, schools, infrastructure, and healthcare were gutted to make up the difference. Billionaires hoarded wealth, leaving us with the bill. The person taking from you is the one gaming the system and profiting off your struggle. They've convinced you to fight over crumbs while they take the whole pie. Funny how the people screaming about being woke are the ones most asleep. If we don't call it out, who will?